My aspiration for Grand Hustle is to create opportunities for my artists, for them to reach a level of success to surpass mine, hopefully. Well, we're here at Tree Sound Studios, and Iggy is perfecting my craft as usual. Let's see if I can interrupt her for a moment. Miss Azalea.
Grand Hustle was much more than just a brand. It's a movement. T.I. launched it around 2003, and he used it as a vehicle to promote his own music after his first album didn't perform very well. Since then, the company has grown and turned into a successful multi-layered brand, featuring an in-house crew, hustle gang, a production team, and music video direction and production by Vision Mob. It has also started other ventures, including a clothing line and a reality TV series.
Well, the show is basically a business competition show where we got the 16 of the most eligible hustlers to compete for opportunity to work alongside my team of executives on Grand Hustle and earn a six-figure salary.
Overall, T.I. transformed his need to share his music with the world into a very successful business venture that few other artists have achieved, especially since the label is still active today. The imprint has released over 30 albums, with at least 15 of them receiving various certifications from the RIAA, and has featured controversial stars like Iggy Azalea, Travis Scott, B.O.B., and Trey the Truth. Given the long and intricate history of the artists on the label, many of whom never released a full-length project while signed, we'll focus on the controversies surrounding Grand Hustle, its famous leader, and the albums released under it. So, let's start at the very beginning. T.I. or Tip, real name Clifford Harris Jr., first signed a record deal with Arista in his late teens, releasing his debut album I'm Serious in 2001.
What's the name of the album, dude?
I'm serious.
I'm serious. What you telling folks with that right now? I'm serious.
I'm serious.
Everybody
You don't understand that, you don't understand.
Y'all know who he is. Y'all done heard him. You seen the video of him, Beanie Man, Neptune, doing the thing, boy, straight from the back here, you know what I'm saying? So what can we expect with that album, you know what I'm saying? I'm serious.
Man, really, man, you can just expect the ride to it, like from the intro to the outro, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's all I'm guaranteeing.
Despite receiving a fairly positive critical response, the album was not a commercial success, barely making it to the 100 mark on the Billboard 200, which led to T.I. being dropped from Arista.
This bad man, you get shot anyway. Bad man don't take back shot. No.
Undeterred, he bet on himself and co-founded Grand Hustle Records in 2003 with his manager, Jason Geter, not realizing it would mark the beginning of an empire. He quickly secured a distribution deal with Atlantic and started signing artists, including himself and his childhood friends, Big Country King, C-Rod, AK, Dollar DP, and Mac Boney, who were part of the rap crew PSC, formed in 2001. T.I. also signed aspiring rapper Ecstasy because he wanted to have a leading lady on his label, though he struggled with marketing a female rapper. Grand Hustle's first album, T.I.'s Own Trap Music, came out in 2003 and was a success. The label was doing well, with Young Dro signing on in 2004 and the release of T.I.'s second platinum album, Urban Legend, at the end of the year. However, T.I.'s involvement in illegal activities, a recurring issue for him, caught up with the man. Around March of 2004, he was arrested for probation violation linked to a 1988 drug conviction and other charges. He was sentenced to about 3 years in prison and additional probation after a plea agreement that included a work release program after serving a year.
In the past couple months, I've had to deal with a few a few issues from my past. You know, back in 1997, I was arrested and charged with possession with intent to distribute crack cocaine. And in 98, I was sentenced to 7 years probation. And, you know, since then, like last year, and mind you, I'm 17, you know, 17, 18 years old, you know, still finding my way, making my way, you know what I'm saying, up and coming black man in America, hustling, trying to make it. And you know what I'm saying, and the ramification of my acts back then, they followed me to, you know, to 2004.
Despite these legal troubles, Grand Hustle continued to operate smoothly, a testament to T.I.'s charisma and business acumen. In 2005, Grand Hustle released another successful album, PSC's debut, 25 to Life. While it didn't grab the attention of the RIAA, it still reached number 10 on the Billboard 200, marking the third consecutive top 10 debut for the label. That year, Grand Hustle also produced the soundtrack for the film Hustle and Flow and added 3 artists to their lineup: Governor, a soul singer whose placement seemed mismatched, Alpha Mega, and Rashad Morgan. Governor shuffled to Grand Hustle after failed stints with Dr. Dre and 50 Cent, releasing his debut Son of Pain in 2006, which unfortunately flopped. Despite this, the label rebounded with T.I.'s double platinum, King, and Young Dro's gold certified Best Thang Smoking. And since we're on the topic of Young Dro, be sure to watch my video, What Happened to Young Dro, if you haven't seen that already. In 2006 and 2007, significant artists joined the Grand Hustle movement, with DJ Yola and DJ Drama joining in 2006, and BG, JR Get the Money, and Young LA in 2007.
Southern Legends, 8 Ball and MJG. We've had the pleasure of signing them. We also have newcomers like Young LA, B.O.B.
Wow.
The label faced a setback when Yola left after a year. However, the most notable event of 2007 was T.I.'s dramatic arrest just hours before the BET Awards, where he is nominated for 9 awards and won 2. Caught in an Atlanta parking lot, allegedly trying to acquire 3 machine guns and 2 silencers from his bodyguard in a sting operation, T.I. was taken into custody along with his girlfriend, Tiny, and several others.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank God for blessing me with the second chance at life and success. With the utmost respect and sincerity, I'm grateful that the court and the government has given me a chance as a part of my sentence to help kids live safe, be productive, and avoid making the same mistakes I've made. I realize completely that I violated the law, and I accept that I must be punished. I take it very seriously. The most important thing to me is that I can turn this negative time in my life right now into a positive. While I'm not looking forward to being incarcerated, I am looking forward to putting this whole ordeal behind me. I realize I have a very long road of redemption to travel, and I intend to do just that. I am dedicated and committed to making a difference in the lives of our young people today.
While T.I. was charged with the possession of unregistered machine guns and silencers, Tiny faced minor drug charges, while T.I. was charged with the possession of unregistered machine guns and silencers and possession of firearms by a convicted felon. Despite facing potential severe penalties, T.I.'s charisma and marketing acumen saw him through as he managed to reduce his sentence by negotiating a plea deal. He posted a $3 million bail, pled guilty, and served 1,000 hours of community service speaking against drugs and gangs, which was chronicled in his MTV show, T.I.'s Road to Redemption.
T.I. is in studio here on the Billy Bush Show, T.I.'s Road to Redemption.
45 Days to Go on MTV.
Yeah.
You could have faced 30 years behind bars.
Yeah.
You're going to end up serving 1 year and 1 day, all of this for weapons possession. First, before we get into that, I just want to ask you, when do you go in?
The specifics of the dates of when I go in and whatnot, that's up to lawyers and judges. They pretty much call me, let me know when my date is on the calendar. I come in, and then my fate will be decided and determined.
Ultimately, he was sentenced in March of 2009 to just 1 year and 1 day in prison. Today, I would like to say thank you to some and apologize to all. Everything I learned was through trial and error. I've learned lessons in my life to put in my music so people won't make the same mistakes as I. And despite all of this, the rapper still managed to keep Grand Hustle not just afloat, but successfully swimming the butterfly. 2 more albums came out around 2007. The double platinum, chart-topping T.I. vs. Tip.
Hey, big things poppin', and little things stoppin'. Hey, big things poppin', and little things stoppin'.
And the much less successful Gangsta Grills, the album by DJ Drama. 2008 followed with another 2 albums, Big Country King's debut album, My Turn to Eat, which did about as well as the Governor's debut, and another album that came out was Paper Trail.
What's the name of the new album?
Okay, it's entitled Paper Trail, comes out September 30th. Put a lot of work into it, looking forward to the release. The first album since my first album that I've actually put pen to paper traditionally.
Oh, okay, so you're saying that before you kind of went off of the head?
Yeah.
Okay, was there a reason why you did it like that in the previous album?
I got tired of losing rap tablets.
Okay,
Yeah.
So you just went off of the head.
Yeah.
So you sat down and wrote this. Was this?
Yeah.
Now when Paper Trail came out, T.I. was on the top of his game. This was around the time he dropped Swagger Like Us alongside Lil Wayne and Jay-Z.
No one on the corner has swagger like us, swagger like us, swagger like us.
He had a chart-topping hit with Rihanna called Live Your Life. And it seemed like T.I. had completely broken into the mainstream.
So live your life. You steady chasing that big car.
You could even say that when this album came out, it was T.I.'s year, and he owned it. So Paper Trail was a huge high point in T.I.'s career. Around this time, new blood flowed into the roster with the signing of hip-hop duo 8-Ball and MJG, as well as B.O.B., Chip, Killer Mike, and Meek Mill, while Dead Weight left with Governor.
It's my pleasure to announce to you that I just signed the newest member of Grand Hustle, representing North Philly and South Philly, Meek Mill.
Okay, so you gotta explain to us, how did this connection happen? How did you get a chance to be signed to T.I.?
I got a chance to link up with my man Charlie Mack and my man Brock. He took me out there, he said, I'll put you in the room, and then you do what you do.
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing everything I was doing.
Unfortunately, while the most promising of the new artists was Meek Mill, he, like T.I., was going through some serious legal trouble. Meek Mill was the target of a drug bust and was convicted in 2008 of possession of drug paraphernalia and second-degree possession of a loaded firearm by a convicted felon, earning him about 11 to 23 months of prison time and a further 8 years of probation. In early 2009, Meek was released under a 5-year parole agreement.
Shout out to World Star. Shout out to my man Madman. Shout out Bad Kid Radio, the whole Philly. TIP Grand Hustle, the whole Grand Hustle clip, man. I'm here. You see I'm in my old school bag and my Nintendo bag right now.
Super Mario.
My Super Mario bag, extra hard. Smashing these dudes out here. You see, this is what I'm doing to these rappers. Look, hold on, this is what I'm doing to these rappers right here. Smashing them. And I'm fresh out of the county. I just got out last night. I still got the gel drinks in and all that, man. Meek Millie is back, man. Time to spread the word like a shotgun.
I tell them, I say, one yourself and two niggas run up with 3 gats. A 4, 5, a 6 shot, 7, like 8 clap.
But unfortunately, due to the timing of it all, he was never really pushed on Grand Hustle. They parted ways around 2010. This is what T.I. had to say on the matter. After my 2 hiatuses, I was put in a position where I couldn't really make moves on Meek as quick as he may have wanted to. I never been one to hold anyone back or slow down the success of anybody. I'm the first to try enhance what you have, and if I can't make it better, then I shouldn't be a part of it. Unfortunately, 2008 also saw the arrival of Ego within the Grand Hustle camp. AK, a member of PAC and longtime friend of Tip, began to voice his frustrations with his label head. He released a very long-winded statement stating that T.I. was focusing on promoting newer artists over the ones he came up with. AK also offered a free album to anyone who could answer the question, why was T.I. hating on AK? He urged his fans to put T.I. under pressure and even offered them VIP passes, Grey Goose and Patron to come out and hang with him when they did so. He further claimed that he was never actually signed as an individual artist and that he was only a part of PSC in a deal with Atlantic. Further, and probably most damning, he claimed that T.I. told him that it was not about family, it was all about money. I was the one who kept T.I.'s head from being off. I saved him in the music business as well. Arista did not want to drop his album until he came to them with another hit. That's when myself and Big Country came through with Heavy Chevys. It was right on time. We dropped that on him when he thought it was over for him. We got our little check for that and did some shows and got some exposure. It was cool. And nothing was wrong back then. It was all 100. But now, a lot of people coming out of Grand Hustle haven't been promoted as his friends as we were. They weren't the backbone of Grand Hustle like us. We were the first people introduced as T.I.'s group, as the clique itself. Now you're seeing all these new faces, and the old faces haven't even expanded nor done their own thing yet. We're still lingering and waiting around. I think in this case, AK may have actually been right. While it was working for him, I think T.I. had signed way too many artists, and he couldn't focus on putting out a project for each of them. Big Country King, one of his first signees way back in 2003, only got his debut album out 5 years later, while several of them never got out at all. T.I. did not publicly respond to AK's accusations, and in 2011, it was revealed that both him and fellow PSC crewmate Young LA had been dropped from Grand Hustle, with LA's completed debut album shelved after its lead single. So in 2009, DJ Drama dropped a very average album, Gangsta Grills, the album Volume 2, and new artists were signed like Bola, Spo D, and Rich Kids. Meanwhile, several other artists left, including Ecstasy, BG, JR Get the Money, and Alpha Mega. Alpha Mega was dropped after the Smoking Gun revealed that he had taken a plea deal in 1996, testifying against criminals to reduce his sentence, which significantly damaged his reputation.
I had one trial, got acquitted on the first trial. Then the feds tried me again on the same charge. But what they did, they brought more co-conspirators in there to say that I was already a drug dealer. So, and that's how I started. So I go back to court, and this guy named I don't even know his name, but
I'll say it for the people.
Okay, I don't know his name. No. This is Cedric Zealous by AK. I know him by Cedric Zealous. During the trial, he comes up and said that I sold dope to him in 95.
This is a Hood Affairs exclusive.
Never seen the guy before. If I walk around in front of me there, I wouldn't know him. Until recently, a friend of mine, she told me that I was on the internet, and I just want to clear the record. So, because I feel that everybody should know who's a snitch and who's not a snitch. So when you walk around Atlanta with your chest poked out, I think you need to think twice of who you walking with, cause who you may be walking with may be the feds, so you better watch out.
T.I. later slated that he cut ties with Alpha Mega because of his selfish behavior, further highlighted by the diss track from Alpha Mega in 2010. The track was called Green Light.
A few jump ship and never called back, but I'm cool with it, cause we was never all there.
Now, to say Alpha was less than pleased is an understatement. Shortly afterwards, he gave a response interview in which he unloaded on Tip for his disloyalty. This shit deeper than rap. This ain't no motherfucking rap shit. And I'm pissed at you, Tip. Bring that camera here. Shorty, listen, on some real shit. I'm pissed at you cause you supposed to be a real nigga, shorty. I gave you the title real nigga, mate. I gave you the title. I motherfucking gave you your look in the street, my nigga. When you had beef with Rick Ross, Carlos, Shorty Low, I squashed that shit, my nigga. I rode for you like it was my own beef. Alpha Mega continued to deny the accusations against him, claiming that T.I. had always known the truth and that he lied under oath to protect the dealer, not to snitch, but to save his life from the street threats. T.I., however, has never acknowledged these claims. The rest of 2010 was eventful, with several album releases and new signees at Grand Hustle, including B.O.B's double platinum debut and T.I.'s platinum album No Mercy.
I'm happy to be home. Feel better than I've ever felt. Learned a lot, grew a lot, and now I think it's time to put all that to good use. Well, this album is different in many ways. I think that Paper Trail was a lot more about thoughts, and this is more about feelings. And, you know, this is significantly more aggressive.
I never let you down, I'ma shine on sight. Keep your mind on your grind and off of mine's alright.
8-Ball and MJG also dropped 10 Toes Down. However, the duo departed Grand Hustle the same year, and new blood arrived with Rico Barrino and OMG Girls, which, if you haven't worked it out yet, is a girl group that was formed by Tiny and helmed by his stepdaughter, Zanique. Also, T.I. and Tiny got into more legal trouble on drug charges. In a messy and frankly boring tale that has nothing to do with Grand Hustle, he was pulled over in a routine traffic stop with Tiny and C-Rod, and later tested positive for opiates, both of which violated his parole agreement.
Rapper T.I. and his wife, Tamika Tiny Cottle, were arrested and charged with drug possession or whatever. They were put over on Sunset Boulevard in West Hollywood, California. They posted bail, $10,000 bail, so they're out now. I just hope that this does not hinder T.I. and make him, I don't know, possibly go back to prison. You know, it might be a parole violation, I'm not sure. Hopefully it's not, and hopefully everything works out for T.I.
Tip served 11 months and again walked a free man. Now, when T.I. got locked up, it was like people almost lost respect for him a little bit. I mean, part of the marketing campaign for the first album was T.I. saying that I apologize for the things I've done and I'm going to fix my mistakes. And when I say first album, I'm not really talking about T.I.'s first album. I'm talking about Paper Trail. So when T.I. went to jail a second time, the people were like, okay, we're not falling for this again. Now, while T.I. was incarcerated, Killer Mike put out an album called Pledge, but ultimately it was another flop. The roster again switched up with the departure of Rashad Morgan, DJ Drama, and Rich Kids, and the addition of GFM Bryce, Tip's youngest brother, as well as artists Young Brook and Shad the God, Tip's cousin, who teamed up with Spo D to form a crew called Dope. So 2012 rolled around, and T.I. was happy to be back in charge of his label, and for about 3 years, there was no drama. While he sadly lost to about 2 more artists, like the departure of Killer Mike and Meek Mill. But he happily signed several new acts, including Trey the Truth, Dobie, and his newest attempt at signing a female MC, Iggy Azalea, whom he signed in a publishing deal and which he later deeply regretted, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Meek Mill, young homie of mine, man. I remember Meek Mill when his hair was long. like down past his shoulders, and he was popping wheelies on dirt bikes in Philly and freestyling on corners, you know what I'm saying, getting his YouTube shine on. And he's come a long way. He's come a long way. I remember when he was around me like every day for about two months while I was working on the Paper Trail album. I think he was in the studio when we did Dead and Gone. I believe he was in there when like when I was performing for the MTV VMAs, when me and Rihanna premiered Live Your Life. And you know what I'm saying, he was around to observe a lot, and he took it and he used that to his advantage, which is, you know, extremely commendable.
2 more platinum albums came out that year, B.O.B.'s Strange Clouds and T.I.'s Trouble Man, Heavy is the Head. And around 2013 he signed Travis Scott.
Ski TV. Yes, it is going down Hip Hop Nation on this Thursday. I'm DJ Ski, and I got a special guest that kind of just bombarded the lounge. TIP, and who else did you bring? It's a monumental occasion right now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We brought the Hustle Gang in here, man, you know what I mean? GDOD, get door or die, man. Hustle Gang over everybody.
Absolutely.
Got my guy, man, Travis Scott in here, man. You know, he got some very special news for everybody.
What up, Travis? What you got? You got this USB drive, so I'm excited. I know what that means.
Man, today's my single drops, man.
Oh, man. How's that feel, dude?
Man, this is ill, bro.
Pull out the south, pull out the ride. We so high.
But sadly, tragedy followed T.I. as he lost another artist when Dobie was unalived in his home state of Alabama. Now, after Grand Hustle's deal with Atlantic ended, T.I. looked for a new distributor, offering a $75 million deal for distribution rights and endorsements. Sony offered $50 million, but T.I. held talks with Roc Nation, Aftermath, and Universal before settling with Columbia. Releases during this time period included Young Dro's, High Times, B.O.B.'s Underground Luxury, and T.I.'s Paperwork. The label stabilized for a while, with Chip leaving in 2014 and OMG Girls disbanding around 2015, while T.I. continued dropping albums including Travis Scott's Rodeo.
Don't you open up that window. Don't you let out that antidote.
However, complications arose with artists Iggy and Spody. After his departure, Spody did an interview where he talked about being bigger than T.I. Everybody know I was a loyal guy with Grand Hustle and Tip. And you know, it's no bad blood. I'm not mad at Tip or anything like that, but I have the potential to be bigger than Tip, or if not, just as big. So it was time, man. I outgrew that. I was Grand Hustle for too long, 6 years. Now T.I. did not take too kindly to Spody's statements, and soon after T.I. went on Instagram and pointed out another 2 artists who thought that they would be bigger without him. Underneath a picture of Young L.A. and DG Yola, T.I. posted the caption, "As we all go about our business and pleasure on this fine day today, allow me to remind you of 2 former young hopeful grand hustlers who thought going against the glory and good graces of the fam might be more beneficial to their campaign. Now, while you may not know, care, or remember anything of their antics, I must remind you, it's room for one more pick up there. At Super Spody, hashtag keep my name out your mouth, etc, etc. In response, Spody posted another video in which he said,
"Hey man, Nick can't be mad 'cause I told the truth, man. Nick can't be mad 'cause I say I got the potential to be better than them, man. What kind of nigga don't want to see a nigga up? What kind of nigga don't want to see a nigga do good? You know what I mean? And if you had any sense, when your artists do good, that means you do good."
Now, in true T.I. fashion, he did not respond to Spody, but he kinda had a point, you know? Where are Spody, L.A., or Yola now? Now let's talk about Iggy Azalea. The controversial Australian rapper more or less stalled her own career back in 2015 when she got arrogant and refused to acknowledge the Black Lives Matter movement despite being engaged to a man of color at the time. She then got into a Twitter spat with Azalea Banks, which made Q-Tip enter the chat and gently and rather lengthily explained the importance of hip-hop's relationship with race, politics, and history, and urged her to be more aware. Then, Iggy ignored Q-Tip's response and the rest of her career with it.
I feel just like in this country, whenever it comes to our things like black issues or black politics or black music or whatever, there's always this like undercurrent of kind of like a fuck you. There's always like a fuck y'all niggas, like y'all don't really own shit, like y'all don't have shit. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that Macklemore album wasn't better than the Drake record.
And Macklemore admitted his album wasn't better than Kendrick.
You know what I mean? That Iggy Azalea shit is not better than any black girl that's rapping today.
This caused T.I. to take a break from Iggy, which later turned out to be permanent.
And if you ain't talking money, what you saying to me? Looks like Iggy Azalea and T.I. are not on the best of terms.
Have you guys talked?
Personally, no.
Yeah.
No.
In a new interview with Hot 97, the rapper admits he no longer speaks to his former protege.
It's very difficult to be the new kid and to be the butt of the jokes and to be just directed with all, the direction of all the negativity.
Years later in 2019, T.I. would recall that the biggest blunder of his career was signing Iggy Azalea. I'm still actively looking for another female rapper who can undo the blunder of Iggy Azalea. That is the tarnish of my legacy as far as being a music executive is concerned. To me, this is like when Michael Jordan went to play baseball. Now, upon hearing what T.I. had to say, Iggy responded on Twitter. Imagine thinking I was the biggest blunder. LMAO. Tip, sweetie, we have a whole list for you. He's a huge misogynist and has never been able to have a conversation with any woman in which he doesn't speak like a fortune cookie. Now, T.I. eventually criticized Iggy for distancing herself from the black audience after realizing her appeal to white listeners, which he felt compromised his reputation. According to him, Iggy got increasingly arrogant and was harder to deal with, and blamed this for her loss of fan support, though he clarified he wished her no ill will, and he was simply stating the truth. Now, obviously, Iggy did not like what T.I. had to say, and according to her, T.I. had minimal involvement in the creative process of making music, and she was talking about her music to be specific. Now, their feud simmered down, though the potential for reignition remains. Meanwhile, Grand Hustle continued to drop music, though its later years saw mixed success. The label released several platinum albums and significantly contributed to the careers of notable 2010s artists like B.O.B., Travis Scott, Trey the Truth, and even Iggy Azalea. However, it seems like the label focused too much on quantity over quality, leading to so many artists joining the label and eventually leaving. By 2021, Grand Hustle as a label was starting to slow it down, and it primarily served as a platform for T.I. Overall, Grand Hustle had impressive moments. T.I. did a really good job with the label, but unfortunately the kids are onto something else, so naturally, the label slowed down over time. That's it for me, it's your boy Ali. What happened to Grand Hustle in your opinion? Let me know down below. Also add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music. Till next time, peace.